to discuss about the review of year 2025, the impact that National Center for Art and Culture has made, and at the same time, the game, the achievements, the shortcomings, and others, just like we have did it in the previous years. Today we will start with looking back at the 2025, which we have described as a year of noticeable progress in arts, in culture, heritage, and all what NCAC are mandated to do, which is most significant achievement during the year and why. So can you tell us about 2025 that we just concluded?
Well, thank you very much. 2025 was a year of progress, like I said, for the sector, arts, culture, and heritage, under the mandate of the National Center for Arts and Culture of the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. The year started, as usual, with the famous Kankurang Festival, which the NCAC organizes in partnership with the community of Makati, and it was a very successful event. Now, this is important because the Kankurang is a UNESCO inscribed element under the 2003 Convention for the Protection of Intangible Cultural Heritage. And the whole idea of festivals, as you know, is about preserving and protecting cultural heritage through showcasing and performance, and through appreciation also. So this is why it was a very, very successful event. That's the 8th edition in 2025, and with the National Center for Arts and Culture played a leading role. Now, another very important event, success story in 2025 had to do still regarding the Gambia's obligation towards the 2003 UNESCO Convention on the Protection of Intangible Cultural Heritage, which the Gambia signed the convention in 2005. But you will see that in 2025, the Gambia became one of 3 countries in Africa that won the international assistance program towards inventorizing elements of intangible Gambian cultural heritage in 30 communities in the Central River region. Now, all those 30 communities will select 3 elements of their culture. It can be a ritual, it can be a ceremony, it can be a practice, it can be a food, it can be a healing practice, and so on, which we will go and record it, inventorize it, talk to the people who are knowledgeable in that cultural element, and also take photographs of the element being practiced or being recited or being performed. Now, the idea is we are going to have a partial inventory of intangible cultural heritage of the Gambia. Which is important because for heritage to be protected and preserved, it first have to be listed. It has to be inventoried. Where it is, what is its significance, who practices it, who can help in preserving it. Now, with that knowledge, preservation becomes a lot easier. So there is a project that has started. The workshops have taken place. The community engagements have also taken place. So now, in the year of 2026, the fieldwork will continue. Now, another success story has to do with artist mobility. In 2025, the NCAC continued to work to make sure that Gambian artists are able to leave the country to showcase our culture and heritage. Now, that is also an obligation under the 2005 UNESCO Convention, on cultural diversity. Okay, this is why we have worked very hard to ensure that Gambian artists perform abroad. For example, we sent an artist to perform in Algeria, okay, at the Creative Arts Nexus, organized by the, Afro-Exim Bank, AFRIEXIMBANK. And we also working through the EU, Creative Arts and Tourism Project. We are able to send an artist to perform in England at the Yaram Arts Festival in the UK. Now, also, several Gambian artists, in fact, I can say many Gambian artists have, through their own effort and through the effort of Gambians in the diaspora, found themselves. Nyancho is a good example, ST, and others. And many of them, will come here, and then we support them with attestation to sort of, facilitate the acquisition of visa. But we have also sent entire delegation of a Gambian artist to China, okay, in the summer of 2025. It was a very successful mission, and that has really helped to strengthen the cultural, diplomacy, between the Gambia and the People's Republic of China. We have also sent a delegation, to Senegal. Now that is important because it's the EcoFest, the first edition of the ECOWAS Cultural Festival, which took place in Senegal, was hosted by Senegal, and the Gambia had, a delegation of 30 artists, performers, dancers, writers, visual artists, and they did very, very well. In fact, all of them, received certificates of appreciation, from ECOWAS, and that was important because, the ECOWAS space shares a lot of, cultural heritage. So our presence there, led by the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, was indeed a very, very remarkable, success story. Now, I also have to say that another very important, success story has to do with the growth in community, cultural, and artistic festivals. Okay, that is something that we have to underline. Now, this has to do also with our obligation under the UNESCO conventions to promote what we can call artistic freedom. Okay, I know the journalists say a lot about press freedom, but we also say a lot about artistic freedom and cultural rights. So when communities organize these festivals, it should be seen in that light, that it is an indication of the level of artistic freedom and cultural rights appreciation in the Gambia. For example, we have had a film festival, organized by a noted filmmaker, Mr. Sankanu, and also by the Gambia Filmmakers, Film Producers Association. We have had the first edition of the Kunta Kinte International Book Fair, organized by the Writers Association of the Gambia. Okay, and of course the festivals in the villages and the towns, across the country. And that brings me to the, Diamond Jubilee. In 2025, the Gambia celebrated 60 years of independence, and there's a very, very strong cultural element in the celebration. Okay, the NCAC worked through the National Organizing Committee, and we are able to mobilize artists from all over the country, from all over the Gambia. It was a real, the cultural spectacle had a Gambian character, and there was also a musical festival, here in Banjul. So as far as some of the success stories are concerned, these are the ones that I will highlight in that sector.
Okay. Yeah. Now talking about the mobilization of artists to perform internationally.
Yeah.
How has the exposure impacted Gambian artists and the country's cultural image abroad?
It has. The exposure has positively impacted the Gambia's cultural, heritage. Because when the artists perform, one, they are promoting the Gambia, okay, and that is important because usually in some of these countries they know the Gambia for other things, okay. Now when our artists go there and they change the narrative that the country has a rich culture, a rich history, and a rich and vibrant artistic scene. Number two, also, it promotes, Gambia as a destination. You know, people are curious, to come and see for themselves what is on the ground. And number three, this, artistic, performances abroad also fosters what you can call, cultural diplomacy. Our attendance to these festivals, abroad, is one way of also of like strengthening the diplomatic relations between Gambia and those countries.
NCAC has made some stride in heritage preservations.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell us some challenges? Some challenges that NCAC face in safeguarding heritage site, taking into consideration like we have some fire accident in one of the Stone Circle sites last year.
Thank you very much. And before I come to that, I will have to say that in the side of museums and monuments, also there has been a lot of progress in that. For example, we have the tourism resilience and the restoration project. Now, one element in that project is to sort of preserve the Kuntakinti Island. And we have worked with the project. The necessary studies have been done, and now the designs, the final designs for the for the sea protection, of the island. For the protection of the island against sea erosion, have been finalized. But also, not only the island, and there will be jetties to facilitate access to the island, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and also enhance. Now, also in 2025, the works at the Mongo Park Memorial Obelisk, which are funded by the Gambian government, are completed. Okay, that is a major historical site, which signifies the role of the River Gambia and in the age of exploration. Okay, so there will be a site museum. The entire site will be fenced off. Water supply has been installed, and also there are visitor conveniences. So that now we can say that and that site has really received a major facelift. Now, I also have to point out that our archives, our libraries, continue to be a center of research, for anthropologists, for sociologists, and for historians. The 2025 has been a very, very successful year because since the completion of the digitization project, a lot of interest has been received, about this resource, and as we speak, in fact, we have 2 researchers who are doing their work there, in addition to students in Gambian universities. Now, coming back to your question, it relates to the issue of preservation and protection of cultural heritage. Most of our sites are found in vulnerable conditions because, for example, the Mongo Park or the Wasu Stone Circle, they are in areas that we can say are bushy. Okay, and they are not like I-22, which is in the middle of a city. So you have some of the perils or some of the dangers, like these strong winds sometimes, and the bushfires. Now, the bushfires are a threat, to these sites because there are megalithic sites, and heating and overheating can cause a lot of damage. But one thing we have learned, and that we have done very well in 2025, was basically to work with the communities soon after the rains, to create fire belts, okay, around some of these sites. Not all of them, but around Wasu, for example. And I'm sure in the coming year, in 2026, we will continue to work with the other communities so that each of our sites will have a fire belt around it. I mean, where the community will come and help us clean, so that these, wild bushfires, will not have a serious impact.
Yeah. Another thing is when we talk about preservation and other things from the NCAC, but they still need funding and logistics. Often affect the sustainability of cultural programs. How adequate is current government and partners supporting the National Center for Art and Culture?
A very good question. We have received strong support from the ministry, particularly in the organization of the Banjul New Year Cultural Festival, which has now taken a new dynamic, inclusive approach. Okay, where the NCAC, through the effort of the minister, has been put sort of in charge now. We coordinate all the governmental efforts geared toward this festival. And in 2025, the Banjul New Year Festival was a different matter in terms of better organization, in terms of better safety and security. Okay. Now also, we have also received support from the projects that are under the ministry, like the EU, Youth Empowerment Project for Tourism and the Creative Arts. For example, some of our heritage sites have received water supply through the project. Also, the NCAC was able to organize a 10-day training, okay, for emerging artists. Okay, where experts took them through the basics of how to make themselves visible, the financial management, voice training, on copyright issues and so on, so that these artists will have a very, very holistic overview or introduction, if you like, to the to music, and this workshop was a very successful one. It was attended by 30 emerging musicians, and in fact some of them, as we speak, we have nominated them to be part of the Gambian cultural delegation going to India. Yes.
Building capacity is so paramount to most of the institutions, especially like NCAC. Can you highlight more on them? Because we have talked about going to India, we have talked about some went to China for training and other stuff like that. What are the planning for this year? Apart from what has happened in 2025 by training them, is there any further training in this 2026?
Thank you very much. There's indeed further training. 2025 was a very good year for the NCAC as far as capacity building is concerned, because no less than 25 of our staff attended training sessions in Senegal, in underwater cultural heritage management, in Turkey, also in underwater cultural heritage management, in China on performing arts, on museum studies, and that has really boosted the morale of the staff, and also has exposed them to new thinking, new methods and new ways of doing things as far as heritage and arts is concerned. We even had 3 staff who attended a training in China on intangible cultural heritage, on how intangible cultural heritage can be dovetailed into tangible cultural heritage, to bring about a more holistic approach to heritage conservation and preservation. And I'm sure in 2026 we plan to continue this bilateral capacity building with our colleagues. And through this training, the NCAC also in 2025 was able to widen its international outlook. For example, the Yunus Imre Cultural Institute was opened in Senegambia. This is like the Turkish language, Turkish Language and Cultural Institute, and the NCAC, of course, played a very, very important part in that. It is an institute that will provide, exhibition space and performance space, to Gambian artists, and it also helped to foster, cross-cultural dialogue.
Mentioning some of this, like UNICEF, UNESCO, EU, or ITC, and others, how do you see international collaboration shaping the culture and heritage management of the Gambia?
International collaboration is critical to shaping cultural and heritage management in the Gambia, because heritage management and preservation is a very complex issue. It takes more than one institution or even one country to accomplish. One, you have the international angle. For example, the bilateral angle. Our support, from the support we get from China, from Turkey, and other countries, from India. You also have the multilateral approach. The support we get from ECOWAS, from UNESCO, and from ISESCO. But of course, also at the local level, a government role is very important. For example, government, through, has an annual subvention for the support of festivals. Also has a development budget, which I say we are using, to complete the works at the Mungo Park Memorial Obelisk. But also the role of the communities is very, very important. Yes, the communities, that are hosting these heritage sites. Yes.
Okay. Moving forward, not to take much of your time, as NCAC move forward, what are your key priorities and expectations in this year, 2026, and beyond, in terms of policy reform, cultural governance, and creative industry, the growth of it?
Well, we have a new board, maybe that's an oversight function, which I'm sure we will continue to work with, to strengthen our policy, framework, also to continue to work with the ministry, for guidance. In terms of programming, I use our focus, the number one will be to mount the exhibition at Fort Bullen, because the exhibition space is ready, it's well done, thanks to support from the international, partners, as heritage management organization. We also want to mount the exhibition at the Mungo Park Memorial Obelisk. Already our colleagues, we have certain friends at the University of Pittsburgh who have designed the exhibition. So very soon we'll start the mounting. Now we also want to start the field work for the inventory of intangible cultural heritage in the Sierra. 90 elements from 30 communities. Now, of course, we also have to continue to work towards supporting the community festivals, because they are now really part and parcel of the Gambia's culture and heritage mix. So we'll continue to do that. Yes, and those are some key priorities for 2026.
Talking about this community festival, this year or last year through this year, which is 2025 through January 1st, the Gambia's, National Center for Art and Culture, in collaboration with Banjul Community Festival, Cultural Festival, successfully held celebrate the Banjul Cultural Festival, and then the recent one, which is Janjambure Kankura and Max Festival.
Yes.
What is the impression, your impression, as Director General of NCAC on these two festivals? Have new dimension to it? Definitely different.
I'm happy that you have realized the new dimension, and you're absolutely right. Now the new dimension, which is really, a directive from the ministry, is that NCAC should leverage on the resources, on the abilities and the power of government institutions, so as to make these festivals stronger and more enjoyable. Okay, for example, on the issue of security, okay, we are a government institution working through the ministry. We can sort of harness the work of the police, okay, to ensure that the festivals, in Banjul and now in Makati have full security, because that's important. Okay, in terms of safety, the same thing. Now, in terms of fundraising also, okay, I mean, we have done very well in that, particularly for the Banjul New Year Cultural Festival. So the idea is, what we are doing in Banjul is to replicate it in some key festivals. So if you like, there is the plan is ready to roll out. If you like, the Banjul, formula, okay, to as many other festivals as possible. And the Kankoran festival, which just ended 2 days ago, have seen also a dramatic improvement this year. Why? Because we have started to roll out this formula, and I'm sure we'll do it for other festivals, this year also. Yeah.
So round it up, what other things that are critical to this review that you feel that is needed to be added in terms of culture, in terms of training, in terms of exposure, in terms of the site, especially the Fort Bullen, though you didn't go into detail what really happened in Fort Bullen, but you made mention of trying to exhibit some other things there. Whether it was
I also want to register that also in our operations, strengthening the staffing, a situation now in all our sites now. There is optimum staffing. We hired people from the communities to act as site attendants, site assistants, revenue collectors. That also the NCC has done very well in 2025. Now we have also worked very hard to strengthen the systems here, the accounting and financial systems. That's very, very important. Now we have also succeeded really in mobilizing the artistic and creative sector. Okay, in July, for example, we had a national forum on the creative arts. It was well attended, and during which we listened to the artists again. So it was important to listen to them, and some of the ideas that they have raised, are the things that were submitted to the EU web project, and they have been catered for. So they have been catered for India 2026 plan of action. Okay, and of course also sadly we lost 2 of our staff. Okay, and that is highly regretted. But in total, I think, like I said, it was a successful year, for the NCAC.
Yes. One more last question to round it up. And in brief, it is about the Sadauda Karaba Jawara's mausoleum. So how far is it?
A very good question, Yunus, for asking. The Sadauda Karaba Mausoleum is a government project. It's a government cultural heritage infrastructure project, and we want to use this opportunity to commend a government for it. There will be a museum, and that museum will depict the lifetimes of our founding president, His Excellency Alhaji Sadauda Karaba Jawara. And now there is a brief delay on the handing over of the edifice to the Ministry of Transport, of Works and Transport. When it is handed over by the contractor to them, then they will in turn hand it over to our ministry, and then the NCC will now take up the technical aspect of mounting the exhibition. But already there's a lot of groundwork going on. For example, we have been able to identify some of the vehicles that Sadaro was using. Okay, and at the garage, and then these are some of the things that will be put on display, in addition to things that we are going to source from his family, like clothing, books and other memorabilia. But that we hope to do in 2026. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yunus. Thank you.